It's me again, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something very near and dear to my heart. You've probably heard a million messages about it this election cycle, and I'm sorry if you're sick of it. You're going to have to sit through it one more time. The importance of voting. Now, many of you probably feel like your vote doesn't matter, and I'd like to tell you a story that hopefully changes your mind. If you enjoy my content, please go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below with your thoughts. And then also, I wanted to let you know that YouTube's algorithm works off of a few factors. One is how long you watch. So if you were going to click off of this video, I'm going to ask you a huge favor and just ask that you watch a little longer than you would have, or watch till the end if you can. The second thing is whether or not you like the video. So if you think the video has content that you enjoy, please give it a thumbs up. And the third is whether or not you subscribe. So if you think that my content resonates with you, please go ahead, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate the support. Thanks so much. I'm trying to get to 10,000. So we'll see how that goes. Back in 2000, there was an election between George W. Bush and Al Gore. Now, Florida ultimately ended up being the tipping point, turning the election in George Bush's favor. Now, the difference in votes between George Bush and Al Gore in Florida was 537. There are millions of people that live in the state of Florida. Millions. And the voting came down to 537 votes. There were more people than that in my high school. So if you can just imagine how close this election could be, I think you'll easily see where your vote does matter. Now, in addition to that, I wanted to talk about voting your conscience. Now, it doesn't mean voting with your gut. That means actually understanding where each political representative, political candidate stands, and analyzing how closely those stances align with your own belief systems. Now, for me, I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-LGBT plus rights. I'm pro-gender affirming care for adults. I'm also pro-gender affirming care for children. I just believe that gender affirming care should not include surgery. I believe that gay people have the right to get married just like straight people do. I believe that unfortunately we have a systemic racism problem in this country. And while I believe that the borders are an issue, I also believe that we should treat that issue compassionately and humanely, and not by separating families and putting them in cages. So, with all of that being said, the candidate that most closely aligns with my values would be Kamala Harris. Now, if that's not the case for you, if you don't believe in those things, then I can understand why you may vote differently. But if you do believe what I believe, or most of what I believe, then I would urge you to consider voting for Kamala. Now, that's all I'm going to do regarding advocating for one person. I am, however, going to point out the reasons why I would never vote for Donald J. Trump. The first reason is he was held civilly liable for forcibly penetrating a woman. And if the statute of limitations had not expired, they could take that civil liability and they could potentially press charges. But unfortunately, the statute of limitations has expired, so they can no longer charge him criminally. But I believe he should be criminally charged. And I don't believe that's the only time he's ever done something like that. Secondly, his stance on abortion. He, while he has said he would veto any national abortion ban that came across his desk, that's because he only believes in abortion in cases of rape, incest, or where the life of the mother is in danger. While I think it's admirable to allow for abortion in those cases, it undermines the argument for being pro-choice, which is respecting a woman's bodily autonomy. Now, if you believe differently, again, like I said, I completely understand why you may vote for Trump. The third reason I would never vote for Trump is his 34 felony convictions regarding the Stormy Daniels cover-up. He has said he would pardon himself regarding those convictions so that he wouldn't have to spend a day in jail, if that's even where this ends up going, because realistically, he probably won't end up in jail. But he has essentially admitted that he would abuse his power as president to pardon himself. That's my third reason. My fourth reason, and arguably the one that I think is or makes the strongest case for why someone should not vote for Trump if they believe that America is a democracy and if they respect the democracy of America, is because of the January 6th insurrection. He has made it very clear that he does not believe in a peaceful transfer of power. He has made it very clear that if he loses this election, it was rigged, and if he wins, then it was fair. You would never, ever engage in some sort of game or a sporting event if the team you were playing against insisted that if they lose, it's only because you cheated. You just wouldn't participate. But we're forced to participate in this. We can't choose not to participate in this election. And he doesn't respect the democracy. He simply does not. So those are the reasons why I'm against voting for Trump and why I would never vote for Trump. There are many other things that I could dive into regarding how he parrots back fake news, regarding how he treats women in general, regarding how his former cabinet members, his former vice president, and his daughter have all come out and said that they will not be voting for him this election. They do not support him this election. However, I'm not going to. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the importance of voting in general. Now, aside from the 2000 election, I want to talk about the Electoral College. First, let me give you a brief rundown of how the Electoral College works. So each state gets 2 Electoral College votes for each of their 2 senators. Then they also get a vote for each of their seats that they have in the House of Representatives. So if your state has 4 seats in the House of Representatives plus your 2 senators, that state gets 6 Electoral College votes. Now, because of this, and because we haven't updated the number of representatives assigned to each state in a very long time, and populations obviously change, we have a disproportionate amount of voting power in smaller states than we do in larger states. So, for example, somebody who votes in Idaho and somebody who votes in California, their votes are just not weighed the same. The person voting in California will have less of an impact on the overall vote than the person in Idaho would. Now, I believe we should do away with the Electoral College. I think it's archaic and it doesn't work. It's too often that the popular vote and the Electoral College vote don't line up. However, I also don't feel like getting into that too much right now. So dealing with the system as it is, we all need to vote. It's crucial for the survival of our democracy. Now, if you believe that Trump is going to be the best president, vote for Trump. I don't want to restrict your voice. I don't want to take away your power to determine what happens with your future. However, I want everybody to vote. I want to know what the country truly thinks. And those who abstain, we just, it's sad. Moral of the story is please go vote, if only because you're tired of hearing people tell you to, if only because whether or not you vote is public record so people can look it up. If only because you want the sticker. Just please go vote. Go make your voice heard. Um, and now let's hope we all survive this election.